Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolf Song. Sorry about last week's video, it was a bit rushed. I was on a strict time limit. I was actually going to go hang out with my brother at the time, so it was a bit of a rush. I almost forgot to do it all together, which is really bad of me. I know, I'm really sorry if I let you all down on that. So we're going to go ahead and go right into everything. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, my week. Nothing really exciting happened. I did a lot of work. I was very busy. Next week, however, I get to start up with classes again. The most interesting part is my education development class, where I have to have 15 hours of observational learning in another classroom. And by another classroom, I do not mean another college classroom. I actually have to sit into a elementary, middle, or high school class. Now, I do get an option of what to choose for that. I think I'm going to try for high school. I also get to try to choose which high school. I'm probably going to go TSP because it's easier transportation-wise. But if I really had my choice, I'd really like to sit on either Lafayette or Dunbar. We'll see what happens out of all that, though. But I'm kind of excited about this because one of the things that the things I got from the teacher is that occasionally the teachers will actually ask us to help them with things. You know, probably like small little projects here and there, maybe even grade some papers, which that's cool. That'd be awesome. I would love to get to get my hands on some of that stuff. So I look forward to that. I'm really looking forward to this semester. Though it's probably my hardest semester so far. On top of that, it's also my last semester at BCTC before I get to transfer either to EKU or UK. So we'll see how things go. So we're going to go straight into topics from comments. This topic I'm going from is history of medical tools. This is a hard topic. I did a minuscule amount of research. I tried to do more, but honestly, getting information is a little rough. And plus, I've been strapped for time, where I was also gone for a week. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to get the research done on this particular topic. What I do know is that for a good chunk of time, bleeding was a very common practice. They usually use leeches, various cutting tools. A lot of their tools are like torturing tools. A lot of them probably were torturing tools. And I mean, of course, a lot of them we still use nowadays, like the bone saw. But things were more precise in our medicine. But yeah, bleeding was a very popular thing. Basically, it's the idea of the four humors, Hippocrates, who, if any of you all heard in the medicine profession, know the Hippocratic oath came from Hippocrates, Hippocrates. Someone figure out how to pronounce that for me and put it in my comments, because I'm not exactly sure, but I call him Hippocrates. He came up with the four humor ideas, I believe. And what it is that he believed that basically an illness or an injury was due to an imbalance of one of the four humors. I cannot remember which colors or which. I know there's like phlegm and blood and water may have been one. I'm not really sure. My knowledge on this is a little off. Like I said, I wasn't able to do as much research as I'd like. So the idea was bleeding was, oh, someone has too much blood in their system. How interesting is that? Part of the reason I know this is that even up until the 18th century, even late 18th century, early 19th century, people believed this. George Washington was actually killed due to bleeding. Though it was weird, when I went to Mount Vernon, they actually said he had died of something else. But the story I had always heard was that he actually had an infection. He had gotten sick, and so they cut open him open to bleed him to let the infection seep out. And what actually killed him was the bleeding. Supposedly he died of the flu. I guess technically that's true. I mean, the flu is why they cut him open and let him bleed to death. But it was actually the medicine that got him killed, not so much just the flu. So bleeding was actually really popular for a long time. I do know in 1895 was when the first X-ray was created. So that's a little bit of knowledge. Artificial heart was 1950s, I think, 1940s, 1950s. Nowadays, medicine-wise, we're really focused on medication. I know penicillin was 1800s, late 1800s, I think. Maybe even early 1900s. I'm not sure. Not completely certain on that. But medicine nowadays, we're a lot more or try to be more precise. We pretend to be are anyways. And I still feel like we do the superstition thing though. We medicate now. We do a whole lot of medication. We go, oh, hey, we believe this is true, so we're going to do this and this. There's all sorts of experimental medication out there too. And I love the side effects of some of these things. It's like, oh, it might cause death, but here, take it anyways. Really? I have a cold. You want to take something that might kill me? Great, I'm right on that. No. But, medicine isn't all bad. They've done a lot of good for me. They kept me alive. I mean, so not too much against modern medicine. I just wish they were not in the pharmaceutical company's pockets. So, my topic. My topic is actually a response to a video I watched, and I'm actually going to be making this video a video response to that video. The video was describing, this girl was going on about how when she discovered she was a nerd, and how she went this whole story. It was a really good story. She's a really good storyteller, even though she doesn't seem to think so. She really is. So I decided I was going to tell my story about when I figured out that I was a nerd. So, Dad got me into D&D when I was about 12. Okay? I'd always been into books. Ever since I was like 4 or 5, I'd always been into books. So I was always into reading and stuff like that. But Dad got me into D&D when I was about 12. And so I started getting really interested in the whole role-playing thing. That was kind of the first step. And then when I was about 14 or 15, Dad got me into anime. Now, when I was in high school, I was the uber outcast. So much an outcast that even the other outcasts, even the other nerds and geeks, didn't want anything to do with me. None of them did. I remember I would try to play D&D with them, and they would just shoo me away because I was that much of an outcast. They didn't want to be seen with me. Nerds and geeks didn't even want to be seen with me. That's how bad it was. And it was pretty crazy. And there goes my phone. Someone's calling me while I'm doing my vlog. That's fantastic. Anyways, so high school, I didn't really identify myself as a nerd or a geek. Not until my senior year, when I started hanging out with my dad's friends, who were all nerds and geeks. And I got along with them really well. And then they treated me kind of, I was a brash teenager, and they were all in their 20s, and 20s, late 20s usually. So I was a little brash, but they got along. I got along with them so much better because they didn't treat me like an outcast. They accepted me. And it wasn't until after high school that I kind of filled out, I suppose. Went from geek to chic, as Maury Povich likes to say, or whatever the other daytime talk show host people do. Geek to chic. I started, looking. I dropped the glasses. My hair became a little bit less greasy. Stopped being, stopped being small and thin. But I realized the stuff I went into was not mainstream at the time. Was not mainstream stuff. I was into D&D. I loved to read. I played video games, but not your standard video games. I liked RPGs. Really big into Final Fantasy, that sort of stuff. I was just into a lot of the geeky stuff. Now it's really interesting because I'm still a geek now, but I'm finding that so many more other people are. This whole geek nerd thing is expanding and exploding. More and more people are into anime. More and more people are into role-playing games. I mean, I know a lot of people that play D&D now, or some role-playing game, some form of fashion. My role-playing group is actually the people I know that do it is enormous. Granted, getting a group together is near impossible because everyone works in their day-to-day lives. But I know everyone either has or does or wants to. But it's just very fascinating, very interesting how this whole nerd phenomenon is just expanding and exploding. Maybe it's just the area I live in. Maybe it's just something that's common here. Maybe it's just people I connect with. Hard to say. I'm going to go ahead and get off this whole nerd story thing. Mainly because I've talked about it. This is already almost 10 minutes, and that's a lot longer than anybody others. I'm going to finish it up with a question, like I always do. My question is, what stereotype would you consider yourself? If you consider yourself a stereotype at all. A lot of people like you, I'm an individual, I don't belong in any group. Really think about it. Really, really think about it. Are you a nerd? Are you a geek? Are you a jock? Are you a prep? Are you a goth? Are you an emo? If you could classify yourself, even if you share only a few traits, are you an intellectual? Are you a bookworm? Think about it. Put some genuine thought into this. I'm not saying label yourself. You don't have to label yourself. You don't have to fit the stereotype. But if you had to pick one, what would you fit? What would you want to fit? If you had to pick a stereotype, and if you had to choose a stereotype, what would you want to be? Well, that's going to be it for me for now, guys. I'm already up to almost 11 minutes. Probably my longest vlog yet. I hope you all enjoyed it. And that's going to be it. If you all have any comments, topic suggestions, I'll always welcome any topic suggestions. Anything like that, feel free to leave them. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you all in the next. I'll see you all here next week.